I'm Brian Armstrong, co-founder and CEO of Coinbase, and this is my talk for the Network State Conference. Back in 2011 or so, I started working on a prototype on my laptop by myself for what would eventually become Coinbase. About 10 years later, it became a public company. It's been a wild journey.
Cryptocurrency pulls on aspects that were common to tech companies, but it also has a bunch of new things. Tech communities are kind of like that as well. I'd love your thoughts on that transition from tech company to tech community.
You certainly were a pioneer here, and I've come to believe more and more in this vision that you have, and I've started to see it happen where it sounds like a crazy idea when people first hear it, but you realize all humans want to belong to tribes. You've framed it as how are they actually going to go create communities? And that's where I think you're the biggest visionary on this. People actually can start to shift that hierarchy of what tribe they belong to and start to have a greater sense of purpose.
Digital currency, what we worked on for the last 10 years, the next step is digital passports. You can redefine citizenship as membership.
Crypto and Bitcoin really unbundled money from the state. And so we're seeing that next layer get unbundled from the state, which is identity. It does seem kind of antiquated in a way that the form of identity we have today is like a piece of paper that the government printed. And a cryptographic proof strikes me as a good solution to that. I do think people are increasingly going to have these digital identities with ENS.
What's your assessment of the current state of Western institutions? Do you see signs of decline, resilience?
It's not like really in a matter of opinion. This is a quantifiable thing. You can go look at people's trust in institutions in the US, and it is in decline. You basically have voice or exit, right? You can try to reform it from within. I also believe in exit. I think that you have to have that as a backup option. And so that's partly why I'm so excited about these special economic zones and places around the world that are including the ones you're working on that, like at this conference, that we need to start developing those backup options, I think, even if it's difficult, even if some of them aren't going to work. I think there's an opportunity to go to the most innovative countries of the world and pitch them on creating some of these zones. We need to try all of those. And even if each one of them has a 10, 20% chance of success, we need to get 2, 3, 4 of them to start to work, build up that next Singapore, that next Hong Kong or Wakanda, whatever you want to call it, get an archipelago of these things so that the next time speech or money or whatever is under attack, that there's a refuge where the builders of the world can make sure that they have a place to reside that does respect freedom.
If we're talking about tech people, digital people, we have billions of people online, and we actually have a government partially because we have the blockchain. We just don't have land yet. To me, it's not that big a deal to think about, okay, what's the next frontier? What would you want to build? What would you want to see built?
Well, I think the most logical network state to build is the techno-optimist, or the EAC network state.
Which sharp societies are you tracking?
We're tracking a number of them, and I have visited some of them. We will eventually need to help some of these special economic zones come to fruition to really see economic freedom accelerate around the world.
What message would you like to leave with the attendees of the Network State Conference?
If you're building network states, build them with Coinbase.